Hey guys, how's everyone going? For those of you that don't know me, my name's Tiffany. I'm a mindset and life coach for women in business. So today's video, let's say, is not a very uplifting one, but I did want to come and share my story with you all. So I found out last Tuesday, which was, far out, what was the date? Can't even remember the date. But anyway, it was last Tuesday from this video. So a week ago today, I had surgery to have my left tube removed. Prior to the Friday that I had this surgery, on the Tuesday, I went to the doctor. I had really bad pain, but to rewind a little bit further, I had a miscarriage back in December, January time. So, you know, my cycle, TMI, if any males are watching this, was all over the place, and I'd been bleeding on and off anyway. So at this point in time, I didn't think I was pregnant because 10 days before I'd gone to the doctor, I had a huge 10-day bleed. So I got into the doctor's on Tuesday. I had a lot of pain, not particularly in one side. It was on both sides of my body, and it was like a stabbing, sharp, cramping pain. At first I thought, bit embarrassing, but I thought, oh, maybe it's trapped winds, and I went through all these things in my head that it could be. I didn't want to go to the doctor, so I held off the 24 hours before on the Monday and went the Tuesday. So I went and saw my doctor. She first said to me, look, could you be pregnant? She was concerned that was that. I said to her, no. I thought it could have been a little bit of implantation bleeding if I was pregnant, because please keep in mind, on this Tuesday I'd stopped my 10-day bleed and I only had this light spotting. It was like implantation bleeding, if any of you ladies have had that before. So I said to her, look, there's no way I could be pregnant. There's no point in doing a pregnancy test. So don't do it. I'm not going to be pregnant. If I was pregnant, it wouldn't show on a test yet. So she said, look, no, we're going to take a urine sample and we're going to do a test anyway. So she did one, and within seconds it'd come up positive. Obviously, mind you, I was in a lot of shock, and I said, I don't know how that's true, Peter, because that's my doctor's name, because I'd been bleeding really heavily a few days prior for 10 days straight. And she had a feel in my tummy, and I hit the roof, and she said, look, I'm concerned that this could be an ectopic pregnancy with all your symptoms, and I think you should go to ED right now. So I went to ED, the emergency department, and they did a whole lot of tests. They did a scan. My blood work, my HCG level was quite low, 300 and something. I was definitely pregnant. At this stage, I had a lot of people telling me, that it could be a cyst on my left ovary that had ruptured, because in the ultrasound that they had done on me that day, showed nothing in my uterus, showed nothing on my tube that they could physically see. There was fluid, free flow fluid in my tummy, but they said they wasn't sure what the fluid was, and they reassured me that it wasn't blood. However, later on in the story, you're going to hear a lot different. They checked that. They kept telling me they thought it was a cyst, it was a cyst, it was a cyst. So my emotions were everywhere at this point. I'd only just had a loss. They kept telling me that it could be viable. And it was probably just a cyst that had ruptured. So yeah, that was all good. So in my head I'm going, well, do I get excited? Do I not? I really didn't know what was going on at this point, because I couldn't see anything in my uterus. The blood work had come back at that level. They thought I could be 3-4 weeks pregnant, so it'd be very early. In my head I couldn't realise how that would be, because I just had that big bleed. So in my head's still telling me that it was a good chance it was an ectopic pregnancy. So I was discharged because after some pain relief, I was able to walk properly. When I first went into ED, I was really stumped over. I was in a lot of pain. I could hardly walk. I went back home. Later in the evening, the pain ramped up again. The doctor in ED had said to me, look, if the pain gets worse than it is right now, you were to go to emergency department again, but you're going to go 45 minutes up the road to our next city, which is Bunbury. Because we don't deal with ectopics here, because we haven't got the gynos, sorry, that's my dog, gynos and specialists here to deal with it, so that was fine. So I went up the road to Bunbury and saw them, went through the whole triage thing. Bunbury, I was there from Wednesday till Friday. They did all the scans again, they did the blood work again. My HCG had risen more than doubled in 24 hours. So they were just sitting and watching me, because at this point they're still thinking it's a cyst that has burst. And I kept getting told that in Bunbury as well, that it was a cyst that was burst. They did another ultrasound on me. They could see something on my left tube but they kept saying they believed it was a cyst, and there was more fluid at this point in my stomach. So that was Thursday. They repeated the bloods on Thursday. My HCG had stopped rising and had gone down by, I think they said 40 at this point. So they were then telling me that it could just be a miscarriage. So at this point, I'm still in pain. I've still got a lot of symptoms going on. That's on the Thursday. A doctor comes in that night and pretty much gives me the decision whether they're going to go in laparoscopy, through my belly button and have a look. The doctor had said to me that, there was still a good chance that it could be an ectopic pregnancy. And the only way they're going to know that is going through, because they could see there was fluid in my stomach, but there was more fluid than from the Tuesday where I had seen the doctor and had an ultrasound. So I said yes at this point because I was in a lot of pain, and I knew something wasn't right in my head. So they said, look, we could go in and it might just be a miscarriage. We might just have to do a D&C, and there might be a cyst there that is burst that we need to clean up. So I was getting wheeled into surgery that next Friday evening. I was put on for surgery. And I had all these emotions. Obviously, I was having a bit of, I don't know whether you want to call it, anxiety shock. I was hyperventilating quite a bit. And I woke up after my surgery to be told that I had an ectopic pregnancy. That was quite well into the pregnancy. I would have been about 8 weeks going off my last actual period. So it wasn't 3 weeks like the blood work had said, but because it's an ectopic pregnancy, the numbers aren't like a normal pregnancy. Your blood work can be all over the place. So that's why mine was showing like a 3-week pregnancy. However, it would have been 8 weeks. The fluid they were picking up, they apologised to me, it wasn't fluid, it was blood. I'd lost half a litre of blood at this point. The left tube had split, so the blood was just coming out of that area. So pretty much, while still half sedated, I got told your left tube has been taken and you've had an ectopic pregnancy. So wow, I went through all these emotions because for the whole week I've been told could be viable, may not be viable. I didn't even know I was pregnant either. So you can imagine the shock I had finding out, you're pregnant, but, it could be viable, it might not be. So I just wanted to jump on here and share my story because I tell you what, ectopic pregnancies, they are not all the same. For me, they kept checking my pulse and they kept it that long because my heart rate was a little bit elevated. It was around the 100 mark on resting. It never went below 100. But because it wasn't over 100, they said it wasn't classed as an emergency. My OBS and my blood pressure and everything else was perfect, really. So it wasn't indicating them diagnostically that I had an ectopic pregnancy because I appeared well. I had a lot of pain, but everything else indicated it could have been the cyst, because apparently the cyst symptoms are very similar to ectopic. Wow. Like, if I didn't have that pain, I wouldn't have known because I would have assumed that it was my period. So it's very, very dangerous, these things. And I'm very, very lucky that the tube was taken on the Friday, because the outcome could have been a lot different, being that I was already bleeding internally but didn't know. So, this whole experience has been really, really painful. But one thing I've learned from it is pain doesn't discriminate. And you can, be the richest person in the world, the happiest person in the world, the most confident person in the world. But understand pain doesn't discriminate, and you need to do whatever you need to do to be able to heal, and know that, look, pain's not going to discriminate, but it is what you do after that pain, what you do after that experience that really counts. So what are you going to do? How are you going to heal? What do you need to do to feel better? Who can you talk to? Who can you reach out to? Just know that there's support out there. Like I said to you, I'm a mindset and life coach. So, I help a lot of women with so many things, whether that's limiting beliefs, lack of confidence, all of these different things. But you know what? This pain didn't discriminate because I'm a life coach or a mindset coach. I still had to deal with the pain. I'm still dealing with the pain, as you can see on this video right now. So just know that it's what you do afterwards and who you reach out to and your support networks. And you know what? I know myself that I'm going to be stronger from this situation, and that it's not all doom and gloom. Like, I've still got my right tube, so it's not going to stop me from having children. And, yeah, it's just what I'm going to do with it. How can I empower other women? How can I teach other women? And this morning, you know, because it's been over a week now since my surgery. I had it last Friday, so it's been a week today. Today's Friday. And I have this voice in my head said, Tiffany, get the hell out of bed and have a shower. Get out of bed and have a shower. I shaved my legs and I had a shower, and it made me feel a lot better because I've just been sitting in gloom for a whole week. And yes, I'm grieving and I'm going through all these emotions, but don't just sit in it. Don't sit in your hurt. Don't sit in your pain. Yes, grieve. Do what you need to do, but don't sit in it for too long, because time is time. Like when's it ever going to be enough time to heal? When's it ever going to be enough time to grieve, you know, a loss of a loved one or something? There's not, because for God's sake, we can sit in grief and gloom for 2 years, but what action are we going to do? What are we going to learn from the situation? You know, this situation has been so painful for me, but one thing I learned from this situation is I am only given what I can handle. Yes, that was disgusting, it was painful, it was nasty, it was yuck, but I can handle it, and I can then help other people and teach other people. So, you know, what are you going to learn from it? Just really think about, what are you going to learn from a certain situation? I learned that I'm bloody strong ass woman. That's what I learned, because, you know, if you look at the medical books, you know, I was bleeding internally for a little while. My body was still, you know, functioning at a somewhat normal, you know, diagnostic way on the BP machine on my blood pressure. You know, I wasn't showing the signs. You know, that's why they didn't operate. And I'm alive. You know, it could have been a lot worse. And it wasn't. And that's what the doctors were shocked about. So, you know, I'm strong at the end of the day. Like, things like this can happen, but I can get through it. You know, it's not the first loss. I've had many of them. I don't know why. I've got a beautiful 2-year-old daughter that I'm absolutely blessed to have, and she's absolutely beautiful. And I'll tell you what, in this circumstance, she's taught me so much too, how resilient and how beautiful she is, and how caring she is, because she was worried about her mum. But wow, the message is, just don't sit in your pain. Reach out to someone. There's so many support channels out there. There's so much help for you in whatever pain, whatever thing you're going through. Just don't sit in it for too long. And I'm glad that voice said to me this morning, get the hell up, Tiffany, and shower, because I looked at the calendar, and to be honest with you, I didn't know a week had gone past. It just went past that quickly, because I was moping, I was miserable, I was depressed, I was sad, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was all these emotions, you know, and I've been through all these emotions in 7 days. I've yelled, I've cried, I've screamed, I've been in pain, I've been through it all. But one thing I do know is that I'm strong, and if I can get through that, I can get through anything, and so can you. So that's all I want to say to you is, you know, feel your pain, do what you need to do to heal, because look, we should never bottle up our emotions. Grief is grief, and you need to let them out. But also know that it's not healthy for you to sit in that emotion for too long, where you're not functioning day to day, where you're not getting up and showering, where you're not able to be your authentic self, your usual authentic self. And what can you do to bring bits of that normal authentic self back? Like me, it was meditating again, it was journaling again, it was getting my ass up and having a shower, it was coming on here on YouTube, even though it's very painful for me to share this story and sharing this story with you. It's not a video I would usually do. I normally come on here and I inspire, I uplift, I empower other women. But it's something that's happened to me, and if I was just to sweep that under the carpet and not talk about it, it wouldn't be normal, because I haven't shown up for people in over a week. Why? Because I've been hurting. My energy hasn't been the energy I normally portray or I put forth for my clients or for myself. So I needed to come on here and share my story, because there will be another lady that, you know, maybe going through the same circumstances that can relate and get something from this. So I'm sending you all lots of love, and I think that's all. I've been on here for 14 minutes, and yeah, if you need any help or you got any questions or anything, please feel free to leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Lots and lots of love, and I'll talk to you all later. Thanks, guys.